Hey, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from Derek Lunsford, which he says was filmed about 1 week ago. So around 15-ish weeks out from the Olympia. He says, I think the highlight of this post was that he says he's 10 pounds heavier at this point in his prep than he was last year at this point in his prep, which I think is significant and likely will be a lot of that actual stage weight, because of the fact you got to consider he only really had half a year, if that, last year of actually knowing that he was doing open. Keep in mind, he didn't announce till like halfway through the year that he wasn't going to do 212 and he was going to pursue open. But this year, he had the entire year off, the entire year knowing that he's gunning for the Open Olympia. And I think he's going to make some massive improvements. Just think about how much improvement he was able to make on his physique going into open bodybuilding in the short amount of notice that he had. I wanted to show you guys this comparison too, because I thought this was interesting. This was the 2018 Olympia. This was Derek's first Olympia where he was still competing in 212, because the thing that really impressed me most about the current version of Derek and the Derek that we see in this update is how vastly he's improved his legs, to the point where now they're so big, they're almost one of the stronger points of his physique. But if you look early in his career, even as a top Olympian in 212, his legs were the main point that people were criticizing. They were saying they didn't match the upper body, they were undersized, they weren't big enough even for 212. And now he's got pretty crazy legs for an open bodybuilder, let alone a 212 bodybuilder. And in this video, they look freakishly big. Granted, part of that could be the angle, because I noticed while watching this video, it seems like the camera is very low, kind of pointed up, filming at him, which could enhance the illusion of bigger legs. It almost looks like the camera might be sitting on the floor. But when you look at what Derek's starting point was, specifically with his legs, and you can also see, even in these photos, the size that he's added to his upper body, it's really pretty incredible what he's been able to do with his lower body. Because even though 2018 might seem like forever ago, he was still runner-up at that 212 Olympia, even with those legs. And from 2018 to 2022, where he placed second at the Open Olympia, is only 4 years in between. Most of those years, him having to meet the 212 weight limit, so he wasn't really putting on a significant amount of size in that time. So let's go ahead and throw up a side-by-side of these same two poses from 2018 and 2022. And I want to correct, by the way, 2018 wasn't Derek's first Olympia. It was his second. 2017 was his first. He was fifth in 2017. But I wanted to compare his first second place placing at the 212 Olympia to his first second place placing at the Open Olympia. That's why I chose 2018. Just so that we could see the stark difference between a runner-up in 212 and a runner-up in Open. And it does make me wonder, with the rate that Derek has been able to improve so far, with him having this entire year, he chose to sit out the Arnold Classic to focus on the Olympia. With him having this entire year to focus on growing and improving and maximizing his physique for Open, what is he going to be able to do to go from second to first? Is he going to be able to get that done in 1 year? Because this is the most time, really, he's ever had to grow into Open. Personally, I felt it was more of a conditioning thing than a size thing, which led to Hadi beating him at the 2022 Mr. Olympia. I think Hadi was way more conditioned from the front, the striations in the chest, the arms, the shoulders. Hadi just looks so much sharper. But then Derek just has a devastating back. So I guess my point would be, what does Derek really need to do to go from second to first over the course of the year? Is it about adding size, or is it just focusing on conditioning? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think there's a chance that Derek is going to be your 2023 Mr. Olympia? To me, it's really just pretty mind-blowing what he's been able to do with his physique in this short amount of time. Now, speaking of guys that have made rapid changes and improvements to their physique, next up in the news, Keone Pearson, 19 days out from what will be his attempt to qualify for the 212 Olympia yet again. Very similar to Derek's post, because Keone tells me in this video he's 10 pounds up from where he was at the Olympia. 200 at the Olympia, he's 210 pounds here at 19 days out, and he feels that he's harder here in this video than he was at the actual Olympia at 19 days out here. And with Keone, I feel like it's noticeable size too. I feel like a lot of people have noticed over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, the updates that Keone started posting during this prep. He looked significantly bigger. He looked noticeably rounder, fuller, wider, and just overall bigger. And keep in mind, he was able to make a pretty substantial improvement from the 2021 Olympia, where he was essentially last because of an illness, stomach issue, to the 2022 Olympia, where he made the first call-out for 212. And very similar to Derek again, because I think the main thing with Keone is not so much adding size, even though I think he will be more dangerous with more size. It's the conditioning, especially in 212. I think because of that weight limit existing, the conditioning becomes a bigger factor, almost bigger than it is in open. Because once guys start maxing out that 212 weight limit, it's not how much bigger can I come in next year. It becomes how much crispier, how much sharper, how much more conditioned. And I think that's kind of the case with Keone. I think Keone, the main thing he needs to focus on is conditioning. I think he looks fantastic with added size, but I want to see if him adding this size, if he can come in with the best conditioning of his life with this size. And I think that's when guys are in trouble. Because with Clarita now staying in 212, at least for the time being, after attempting open, I feel like I don't see anybody right now that just has the pure genetic talent that Keone does. I don't see anybody really pushing Clarita as hard as I think Keone could if Keone were in crazy condition, because Keone's shape is just so flawless. And by shape, I just mean the structure of his physique. And from talking to Keone over the course of this prep, it seems like he's more confident than he's ever been in his physique. Whatever they're doing right now, him and his coach Patrick Torr, seems to be working better than it's ever worked. And his confidence is at an all-time high. And I know that I've said it to the point that it's almost become a meme now, but I still think that Keone will one day be a 212 Mr. Olympia champion. Will it be this year? We're going to find out pretty soon. Now, next up in the news, the Tampa Pro lineup was just released. And again, I'm pretty surprised by the number of competitors in this lineup. Only 7 competitors at the Tampa Pro this year. This has really become a theme with these middle-of-the-season summer shows that normally are pretty big shows, that they have less than 10 competitors, in some cases just 5, 6, or 7. Now, we've mentioned this upcoming Tampa Pro quite a few times, because this will be the first show that Hunter Labrada is doing to try to requalify for the 2023 Mr. Olympia. And a lot of people have been talking about how good Hunter's been looking lately. So in this lineup, you've got Lewis Breed, Steven Daniels, Roy Evans, Brady King, Hunter Labrada, Nate Spear, who to be fair looked pretty good when we saw him a couple weeks ago competing, and Joel Thomas. Now, honestly, no disrespect to anybody in this lineup, but I don't think any of these guys are going to be pushing Hunter Labrada out of that victory spot. Now, Joel Thomas is in this lineup. That's the last name on the list, and he was the only other bodybuilder in this lineup to have competed at the Olympia, where at 2022's Olympia he placed 16th, which was the tie for last place, because they don't score beyond 16. But in numerical order, ahead of him were 6 guys: James Hollingshead, Blessing Awodobu, Antoine Vaillant, Andrea Musi, Andrea Presti, Akeem Williams, and then Justin Rodriguez in 15th. So those were all the names numerically ahead of him in that tie for 16th. So technically, like 20th, 21st, had they scored it that far. And no disrespect to Joel Thomas, I actually really like his physique. But my point here is that I don't think anyone in this lineup is even going to challenge Hunter. Frankly, I would be shocked if we don't see more guys jump in this lineup. Because even some of these smaller shows that we've had recently, we've had really competitive top 2s at a lot of them, like really close decisions at most of these shows, even with the smaller lineups. Some of those top 2 battles with Hassan Mustafa, for example, I thought were highly competitive. But unless Hunter came in here completely off, which based on the updates that we're seeing from him, I don't think is even a possibility, I don't know who here is going to challenge him. Now, I do want to mention that John De La Rosa did post right after Chicago that he was doing the Tampa Pro, but for some reason his name's not on this list. So unless he changed his mind, I would have expected his name to already be on here. But he was kind of a last-minute addition to the Chicago list, so maybe he'll be a last-minute addition here. But this list, as it stands now, looks like kind of a blowout for Hunter Labrada. But I'm really expecting it to change. I'm expecting to see something similar to Chicago here, with some last-minute names added. I do think John De La Rosa will be on this list eventually. It'll probably change in a couple of days. But this is the first version. This is the first list of who is officially locked in doing it. But I do hope that John still intends on doing it, because I do think he would be someone that could push Hunter and be a decent top 2 battle. But I'm curious what you guys think in the comment section below, because again, it feels like the question is, why is nobody doing these shows? Are there too many shows? Is the incentive not enough? Is the prize money not high enough? Are there too many opportunities to qualify for the Olympia? Because I've been covering all these shows year-round, full-time, for like 6 or 7 years now. And I feel like this year has been the most consecutive shows with really small lineups that I've seen since I've been doing this. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.